I can't remember the last time that I left the house. I do know that I ran out of my medication a few days ago, but the apathy that I was feeling just kept telling me to stay in, lock the door and go back to bed. Not like I could afford it anyway, with no insurance to speak of and barely $10 to my name. Heck, the last grocery delivery that I got is barely hanging on, despite my depressed appetite forcing me to ration it. I had about 12 different voicemails from my mom asking why I wasn't responding, begging to know that I was still alive, but I just couldn't. It wasn't worth it because she wouldn't believe me anyway. Hell, I'm surprised she hasn't flown over here yet to drag me out. I can hear her now. You know that you're better than this, Alex 3. Get up. Yeah, great motivation there. It was the voice in my head telling me that I was worthless. That it would be better for me, for everyone, if I just took myself out of the pool. It's not like I contributed much, just a struggling writer who posts horror stories on the internet, not like it was enough to keep the lights on. Then again, I don't know if anyone would notice if I stopped paying rent in this shithole high-rise, other than the slumlord that already bled me dry like a damned vampire. He didn't even come around anymore, and knew that eviction wasn't worth the trouble. The cops didn't care about things out here, and this guy was already on their shit list. Must not have paid his dues to the police union lately. Loud discordant tones rang from my phone, sitting on the charger beside my bed. I don't even know why I bothered to keep it charged other than doom scrolling anyway. Not like anything was looking up in the world recently. I figured it was just another silver alert. Some old dementia patient taking the keys when they shouldn't. My grandpa made it all the way to Mexico like that one time. Unlike his decaying brain though, mine found the idea of being outside terrifying. Just the slightest hint of stepping out of my apartment was dread-inducing. With the insane amount of things that could go wrong at every moment. Hell, just going to the grocery store can get you shot these days. Why risk it? Not the point. Check your phone. The sleep in my eyes wasn't leaving, taking every chance when I tried blinking it away, desperate to put me back under its dreamy spell. My hand darted out, limbs heavy, still not awake, and pulled my phone to my face. It wasn't even dark out despite the blackout curtains making it look like it was the dead of night. No, the phone read 2:37 p.m. with the alert notification in full right below it. Emergency nationwide alert. All persons. Do not under any circumstance look at the heavens 3. Please close all windows, doors, and any other way to view the outside world. Please shelter in place until the alert has been lifted. If you are not in an area to shelter in place, please carefully move to the nearest building with adequate shelter. Repeat, do not look at the heavens 3 under any circumstances. If you or someone near you has made this mistake, immediately administer the following emergency procedures. 1. Restrain the exposed. Rigid, stronger bonds are recommended. 2. Do not attempt to reason with the subject, they will tell you that they are unaffected. 3. Terminate the subject through dismemberment or immolation, use both to be safe. 4. Remain hidden until this alert is lifted. The hell's going on? I mumbled, still in my half-asleep state. I'm barely through the message when a call starts coming through from my mom. God, I don't want to speak to her, but with something like that coming through, I want to think that it was a prank. Some joker hacking the system for some kicks, like Max Headroom back in the day. I don't know though, so I better at least send Mom a tease. Guess it's the best time to let her know that I'm alive. Take a deep breath and answer the phone. I hit the button, with Mom's voice coming in almost immediately, frantic and screaming. With Mom's voice coming in almost immediately, frantic and screaming, I barely make out what she's saying. Oh my God, are you okay? Are you safe? Don't do it, don't look out please. She was tripping over words and sobs started coming between. Your father, oh God, your father. Mom, what the hell is happening? The sleep is shaking out with my fear spiking. Instead, she never sounded like this. Mom is always the tough no-nonsense type, more likely to curse at a problem and beat it into the ground instead of walking away. I barely ever heard the woman cry, much less utter the word God without it being in Sunday school reference. Where's Dad at? What did he do? He was outside doing yard work. You know how your dad is. Next thing I know, he's bashing at the door trying to get in. He's changing. I swear that his eyes are gone. He's practically foaming at the mouth, but it's like all his teeth are they're growing or something. They keep getting longer in his mouth and sharper. I don't know what to do. What do I do? He's trying to say something, but I can't understand the words. The words are coming out more forced now, sobs more pronounced, and her breathing was cut short in fear. Whatever apathy that I had about talking to her before was gone, now full of fear that this may be the apathy that I had about talking to her before it was gone, now full of fear that this may be the last time that I speak to her. Mom, you need to hide. Go in the bathroom, there's no windows or anything. Grab a phone, a charger, a knife, whatever you can. Don't look out, do you understand? Jesus, is that me talking? I haven't had this kind of command in years, and not since I burnt out around my mid-20s. Adrenaline is one hell of a drug. Mom, I need you to confirm. Do you understand me? Yes, she stuttered. Winston was out there with him. He's gone. Ah shit, their dog. Stereotypical bulldog name aside, he was a good boy. Probably got spooked about what had happened with Dad. No, I can't talk to her about that right now. Got to keep the confidence going or she'll break down completely. We'll find him later. He probably ran off. No, he's gone. Your father has him. He's making something with the body, like a statue or something. She was muttering now. Mom, are you moving? Are you going to hide? I asked again, pressuring her to keep going. I need you to hide in the bathroom, the one connected to your room, okay? Lock every door on the way and keep yourself safe. Please, Mom. Glass shatters as she screams, a garbled sound coming from nearby. There's a brief thud as Mom drops the phone, making it hit the hard wooden floors of their house. I can hear Dad's raspy voice speaking with something unintelligible through a warped mouth. He has me. He has me. Please, talk to him. Help. Her sobs were punctuated by scrapes along the floor with periodic thumbs. Shattered glass, tinkling and crunching on the ground. No, Jeremy, please. I don't want to go out. Join us and see 3. A hiss was barely audible over her screams. Dad's voice, I could recognize it anywhere, even through these strange noises that he was making. Worship with us. No, please stop, don't make me look. Mom screaming please are cut short. Complete silence on the other line before she suddenly begins to whisper, praise be. Mom please, are you okay? I was screaming into the phone now, holding it to my face on speakerphone to try and get any attention possible. Instead, I only got silence, punctuated by the occasional scream in the distance. Nobody answered my cries. I finally hung up, knowing that nothing would come from staying on the line. My only thought was that at least I had peace of mind knowing that my parents were already gone. It's not some mystery that I'll never know the answer to, so at least there's that, I guess. Now I know it's not a prank either. Something really messed up is going on. Okay, be logical. The alert said don't look at the heavens. 3. Dad was outside when it happened, so that confirms something there. Restraining them makes sense now, but destroying them? Good God, that's bad if the government is recommending it. Maybe there's something on the news. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I found the remote, flipping it to the local news on my hijacked cable. The anchorman was sitting there, worry on his face, as voices from behind the camera clamored in nervous agony. I get it, I got to hear my parents die. How many of these people have loved ones that they have no idea about? How many were there out of some sense of duty, trying to keep anyone who watched safe. We have yet to know if anything can cure the result of what's happening. What we have heard from the CDC and World Health Organization is that this is not an isolated event. This is happening worldwide, with the same symptoms presenting regardless of nationality, race, sex. Nothing is discriminatory about this. If you look at the heavens 3, you are dead, effective immediately. If someone you know looks at the heavens 3, immediately seek safety and isolate them. Restrain them if possible. This has a 100% infection rate and will not pick and choose who receives its horror. We hope to have a representative from the CDC on soon to speak. He was stammering, barely keeping it together. The phone ringing nearly made him jump from his chair, the sweat on his brow drenching his perfectly groomed hair. Well, yes, that seems to be them now. Professor Sigurd. Yes, this is Professor Sigurd. Please, if you're listening, we beg you to not go outside. Don't look out your windows, don't do anything that could expose you to a clear view of the heavens 3. Something is changing, people. He was frantic, terror in his voice, but also menace. He knew something that the rest of us didn't yet. Please, if somebody you know is exposed, isolate and restrain them. They will try to expose you as well in any way possible. Explains what my dad did, I guess. The professor kept going, though. The only thing that affected beings want to do is reinforce their numbers. They'll do it through any means, even working together. The only thing that we know is that they speak of worship for whatever they see. He continued on. I'm sorry, Professor, can I ask a question? The anchorman said, holding a hand up like he was commanding the caller to stop. What the hell is up there? Well, as of now, we still don't know. We're attempting to see how we can view it without causing an infection. It's a drawn-out process of trial and error, he replies, shaking in his voice. It's currently unknown, though we have tried to see it through cameras and other means, but nothing comes up. It's like filming a clear heavens 3. So recordings of the phenomena will not cause infection, the anchorman tries to clarify, a look of relief spreading across the nervous lines drawn taut on his face. We have only tried digital recordings, but yes, the infection will not take hold when viewed through recorded video. That said, we have yet to commence live viewing, only trying pre-recorded as of now. Please, use discernment and do not try anything that could expose yourself or others. Still rambling on, he sounded more panicked than before though. Something else was creeping in. I want to stress and I feel that I cannot do it enough to stay hidden from any of these things. They are no longer your loved ones. They are no longer the people you know, worked with, or grew up with. They are monsters, plain and simple. I turned it off. Not like I had planned to go outside anytime soon anyway. So no worries about looking at the heavens 3 for me. Now just to lock the doors and wait for things to blow over. Mom's screams keep bursting through my mind though, making me jump as if she were right next to me, shrieking for her life as Dad drags her away. It all felt so real that I just had to try. Picking up my phone and letting out a deep sigh, I called her number, ringing. The steady and consistent dial tone sound as I waited for her was torture. I knew she wasn't going to pick up, so why the hell was I doing this? It's only going to go to voicemail and then I have to hear her sounding happy. But the screen changed, video popping up as she answered a video call. The ceiling was visible only, their fan spinning lazily above, a spatter of red on one blade still dripping down steadily. I was holding my breath without realizing it, but whatever air was still in my lungs began hissing out slowly as I whispered, hoping against whatever terror was causing this. Mom? Mom, is that you? Join us and C3. A whisper barely audible over the phone speaker. Suddenly the screen is hectic, something picking up the phone and flailing around the room. Moments of chaos pass, finally settling on a face. What remains of a face at least? It was definitely Mom, or was at one time, but now the entire upper half of her face was gone. Like physically there was still the space, but the skin where her eyes and nose once were was gouged out, scraped raw to expose the bone and muscle in her skin underneath. Her eyes were totally gone, nose cut off at the base, yet I could still feel her staring at me. A nose cut off at the base, yet I could still feel her staring at me. "Join us and see 3. She whispered again. No, this wasn't right. This wasn't my mother. This wasn't anything how she could be. There's no reason for any of this. Join us and see 3. Worship with us. The seal is broken." I didn't even realize that I was practically smacking the shit out of my phone screen, shaking hands, and doing my best to hit the dang cancel button for the call. The red button finally connected, the disconnect tone hitting right as Mom began to turn the phone screen away from herself, the open door flashing before me as it began to reveal the open heavens. 3. My eyes clenched shut as I tossed the phone away, praying for it to end. Why did I try that? I should have known that it was going to end badly. Jesus, what's happening out there? I got my answer almost immediately, a loud explosion shaking the building, causing windows to rattle. Whatever had exploded, it was close, screams coming from outside that could be heard even up here on the 15th floor. Another loud boom shook me again, this time feeling even closer, close enough that the window in my bedroom shattered, bringing the noise outside in. Screams echoing from below. Good God, what is going on out there? I could hear nothing but screams and chaos coming from below. The New York 3 streets in a frenzy, violence ringing through the air. People begging for their lives, pleading for their loved ones, all punctuated by that same phrase, "Come and see." As much as I don't want to, there might be something useful on TV, if it's still active. The screen came on, same channel as before, but the anchorman was now replaced by a woman. A small crying at the bottom of the screen reading out a new message. Martial law, all emergency services are suspended. That was fast, it had only been 15 minutes? Honestly, time is a foreign concept right now. I threw my phone somewhere under the couch while I was trying to get away from Mom, so no telling what it was. The television didn't have the time either, just more warnings coming across the screen. Those same instructions to dismember or kill anyone affected by the thing in the heavens. 3. We were going to go live to Devon outside. The new woman on TV was stammering out, looking around nervously like she had no idea what to do. He's volunteered. Volunteered, yeah, that's it. He's volunteered to go outside and film the heavens. 3 for us live to see what's up there. 1 second, we'll switch to his feed. The screen cut out to the anchorman from before, now screaming and red-faced as others were dragging him somewhere. He was fighting back, but it was basically useless against the number of people around him. Whoever was recording was following right alongside, saying nothing while some messed up film was about to go down. The pale fluorescence around them made the beige hallway seem like the most mundane corridor to hell that there could be. Finally, they had reached a heavy metal door with the group setting Devon down and pushing his back against it. The camera was shoved into his hands, changing POV to show the scared man who was previously recording. Before Devon could beg for mercy, they pushed him backward through the door, the camera falling with a thud next to him on the ground. They slammed the door shut as Devon's sobbing and bleeding face is captured for the world to see, still lying on the concrete. Please, I just want to go to my family, please. He was choking out between pained sobs. Liza, please be safe. I'll be there soon. I didn't realize until the screen began to blur, but I was crying now. Jesus, I felt empty for so long that I almost forgot what it was like. Between seeing my own family and hearing what's on the streets, can't say that I didn't feel for the guy. Hell on earth, but he probably has no idea where his family is. I was almost rooting for him like I was watching some underdog at the Olympics when he left the camera behind, keeping his head down and running fast. There is a small car parallel parked right down the street. I'm guessing that it's his because he dug keys from his pocket before jumping in. Car starting with a jump before it was swarmed on all sides. People. No, the blood all over their faces said otherwise. Monsters. That idiot. A woman's voice cut in, feed switching back over to the studio news desk. The woman was beating her fist on the table, anger overflowing in her voice. Oh, sorry folks, technical difficulties. We'll be right back. The screen flashed out instead, taking over by the emergency alert system. Same as before. The people down at the station must have lost the battle with their own sanity. Turning on each other, not surprising. It took me a few minutes of searching and grasping blindly under the couch, but I finally found my phone again. There was a missed call from Mom. I'm assuming just to try again for her original goal, but I know what she is now. I'm not risking that. Let's see if there is anything else out there though. Twitter was a cesspool as usual with plenty of conspiracies floating around. Reddit wasn't too much better. Some claiming that it was the end of the world while others said it was some Russian attack. Meanwhile, everything around the world was going through the same nightmare, people turning into monsters outside our doors but were arguing on the internet about who's behind it. Nobody even knew what the heck it was, all of this complaining, all of this blame being thrown around, and nobody can even know because just looking up is enough to turn you into one of those things. The worst part is that it doesn't show up in photographs or videos, not digital anyway. There was talk of trying analog recording methods, a lot of discussion about how digital can't capture it because of cybernetic cloaking or some shit like that. There's no telling what's truth and what's not at this point. The analog idea got me thinking though. God, where is that thing? I ran to the closet to throw open boxes still packed from moving over 2 years ago, desperately searching. Finally I found it. My old Polaroid that Dad got me for Christmas one year. This thing was vintage and he found it in great condition. I double-checked it was good to go, grabbing a pack of photos for it and loading them in. Camera opened, the daylight seeping in from cracks under the window. I tested it out. The shutter gave a mechanical hiss, bulb flashing bright against the relatively dark room, and a small picture zipped right out of the camera's front. Alright, take it out, flap it around for a second, and good. My tiny studio apartment was all there, caught on grainy film against the backdrop. In a world that wasn't ending, this would be the cover of a Midwest emo album. Alright, step up. Don't look up, just put the camera through the window and press the shutter. Don't even think about it. But thinking about it was the only thing I could do. Okay, start slow instead. 2 hands, nervously reaching from this side of the curtains while turning my head as far as I could, trying to hold the bulky camera steady enough to snap the picture. I didn't even know if it would get a picture. Angle it toward the ground now, okay, and click. I could hear the bulb hiss, that same shutter sound before I yanked it back in, looking with fear at the undeveloped photo jutting out from the slot. Pick it up and give it a wave. Color began to fade in slowly, revealing the lush greens and browns of trees below in the New York 3 fall. Around the street, though, was a bloodbath straight from a horror movie. These things were just grabbing people, horror on their faces as they were dragged from homes and businesses, all being forced to open their eyes, looking up at the bright cloudless heavens 3 above. Even in the grainy photo, I could still catch the fear in those people's eyes, some seeing their final moments against their will. Others were right in the midst of their own agony, gouging their eyes out with fingers, scratching any semblance of sight from their face with whatever they could find. I dropped the photo upon noticing a child with what looked like a shard of broken mirror from a nearby car, readying it in front of his left eye for something that I knew wasn't going to be good. Hell, I don't want to do this. Don't even want to try seeing what's in the heavens 3. What if I can do something good though? Maybe contribute something good. Solve a part of this big messed up mystery of a situation. I can try, right? Deep breaths. Deep, deep breaths. Stick the camera through the curtains again and keep it steady. There weren't any taller buildings than mine nearby. The city is starting to level out into suburbs just outside of my window. This is it. A clear shot of the heavens 3 beyond, but will it work? Will it turn me into one of them? I mean hell, I'm probably dead at this point. Still too scared to leave my apartment at the end of the world. Still worried about eviction or paying bills like there's even going to be a tomorrow. My finger clicks the shutter, that same bulb flash and hiss as it imprinted outside onto the film. Deep and steady, careful not to bump the photo as I bring it back in, making sure to keep looking away from the crack in the curtains, the world outside going straight to hell. I got it. I got the photo. Now just to give it a little exposure so that it develops. Jesus Christ. I see it. Clear as day, I see it. It's showing up on the Polaroid, this giant. It looked like a man up top, riding a horse like he was heading into battle. The horse was beyond dead though, skin and nerves flayed, exposing the dark red bloody muscle underneath. It was in motion as it was captured on the Grammy photo, legs mid-pump, propelling itself toward Earth. No telling how big the damn thing was, but it was larger than the sun in the heavens 3, threatening to blot it out in any moment as it cast a shadow over the world beyond. The rider was even more terrifying than the skinless horse, a charred, barely hanging on body with missing limbs. The foot was barely attached, jostling alongside the horse. Meanwhile, the face had its eyes gouged out, much like those below, but it looked like his wounds were cauterized, terrible burns marking the top of his visage as his jaw hung open, one side dangling down further in a lopsided grin. I wanted to throw up, wanted to scream and open the window wide to show myself that it wasn't real. I could hear something nagging at the back of my mind the entire time, a guttural, whispered voice struggling to speak through a destroyed throat. Join us and see 3. Everything else in my head was screaming, telling me not to listen to that thing. Everything else in my head was screaming, telling me not to listen to that thing. It sounds so welcoming though, to look to the heavens 3 and let all my worries go to see the giant figure on the red horse. No, I can't let go now, I actually did something. I got some kind of answer right. I did something good. Who am I even asking at this point other than the voices in my head? At least some are telling me to live. It's better than most days. A scream pierced the air from outside, waking me out of the trance that I had been in. Han reached out to the curtain in front of me to pull it back. No, can't do that. I pulled my hand back fast, like touching a still hot pan on the stove, dropping the Polaroid in the process. From lower down, the scream quickly died out, joining the now steady whispers growing loud enough to hear even this high up, all beginning to sink in their strange beckoning. Join us and see 3. They must have gone through most of these street-level buildings already, which means they'll probably move up here soon. I can at least get the picture on the internet. Maybe someone can do something with it. A tweet, a Reddit post, anything. Hell, I'll put it up on TikTok if it gets the attention that could help someone. It only took moments after I had snapped a picture of the Polaroid to post it. And not long after that for comments to start flooding in. Hey, stop spreading disinformation. Cool picture, who drew it? Nice Photoshop, jackass, but the world is ending. I told you all to repent. Standard run-of-the-mill BS, of course nobody would believe it. Why believe the insanity happening right outside your window when you can make up stuff on the internet? Jesus Christ, I might jump off the roof before I even get a chance to look at the thing. The flood of notifications started to make me just want to end it all, knowing that there wasn't going to be any help for anyone in this shitstorm of death. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." Oh, you've got to be kidding me. As many Sunday school lessons and church sermons that I've been dragged to in my life, all the Southern evangelical hellfire that I've heard, there's no way. It fit, though. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Except this is the second one. Jesus, what was the first? The pale horse, I think. No idea where he is, but the second was the red horse, the one that was always brought up in sermons about the end times, and the swore in bloodshed to really bring everything together. We really, truly are screwed, I guess. A crash from below takes me out of my focus, remembering millions of Bible verses that I had to study back in school despite how bored I was. Hell, Revelations was one of the few that held my attention for longer than a second. The whole thing was like a metal album on the most hardcore hallucinogens possible. Seeing it firsthand is much more terrifying. It's the end of the world outside, a bloody horse and an undead rider are hurtling through the heavens 3, and I feel whelmed. Maybe it's just the lack of meds in my brain deciding that it's not the worst thing that could happen, but the end of the world feels like a damned relief. Or at least it did until the noises started going downstairs. Crashes at first, mixed in with some of the few sporadic screams left in the streets. And then it started getting even closer though, working from the street through the thin walls of my building. Screams below my feet outside my door. They were finally coming after us. My phone let out a loud siren again, another alert coming through during the chaos. I looked down, seeing if there was any message for safety, shelter, an answer to any of this. Join us and C3. That was it. The emergency alert was just the same thing. Everything's over. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm safe in here, I think. I don't want to risk opening my door because they might come in here. No, stay here. Stay in safety. Don't look outside. Join us and C3. A voice, but not from the streets below me or even outside my door. It sounded clear enough to be right in my ear, standing right beside me, pushing me to go look. Why not, right? I had already seen the picture, not like looking at the actual thing could break me much at this point, right? No, I have to figure a way out. Don't think about looking at the dang thing. Just get out and try to find shelter elsewhere. The basement. There's a basement level that has sewer access, I think. Can't see the heavens 3 if I'm underground. Can't get exposed by those things if there's nothing to make me look at it. It's perfect. There's no rhyme or reason to it. My BPD brain just suddenly said, you can get out of here. And next thing I know I'm more reason to it. My BPD brain just suddenly said, you can get out of here. And next thing I know I'm just rolling with it. The energy is here so I'm not letting go. I don't want to die as much as I'm okay with the world ending. A knife, a flashlight that barely works, wasn't much to choose from in my empty apartment. I have to give myself some credit, at least I wasn't a hoarder. It took all of 5 minutes to get ready and then 1 minute for all my hopes to get to the basement to fly right out the window. Noises grew louder, the screams advancing up the building along with something new. The smell of smoke. Oh shit, is all that I can whisper shout to myself as things get worse. I brace myself standing in front of the apartment door. Eyes closed tight, praying to whatever God would send this hell to us that they weren't going to be right outside just yet. Reach for the knob, get ready to turn, fling and run. Jesus, the knob was hot and the fire was already close outside. There might not be any way down. They're probably trying to flush us out. I grabbed a towel off the bathroom sink, wrapping it around the knob this time and pushing it open. Flames were already lighting up the dingy hallway, lights flickering out as fire tore through the electrical system. Whatever fire safety system that they had in the building wasn't doing anything. An alarm ringing without any sort of sprinkler even attempting to help. Smoke was rising high, covering the ceiling before the flames could take it first. Only time was keeping it from burning. Alright, change of plans, run the other way. Burning. Alright, change of plans, run the other way. The stairs are on the other end of the hallway with only hopes guiding me to see if they would still get me down to ground level. Bursting through the emergency door was like hitting a wall of heat, fire already rising up from the ground floor under the winding stairs below. No way down, only up. Screams echo behind me from the hallway. Creatures running through to pull out flaming bodies, tossing them from windows to see the heavens three outside. There's nothing that could get me back there. These damn things are already swarming this floor in droves to take more for their own. No, this was it. Face them or burn below. Neither are any kind of fun way out. How both are going to be painful, and I would rather not do any form of pain. Join us and see 3, come and see. One of the things was practically chanting with glee back in the hallway. Maybe it was better if I took myself out, not give them the chance to get a new recruit. The knife in my hand could probably get right through my neck easily. Maybe if I went through the ear it would keep me down. My only worry is that they'll get to me before I can actually die. No, the knife wouldn't work worth a damn. The only other option is up there. The knife wouldn't work worth a damn. The only other option is up there. The stairs above me were clear of any flames, just smoke rising slowly to build up above. There was a roof access door up there. Usually it's where the teenagers would go to smoke without getting caught, but it would make a good place for a final bow. 26 floors and I'm on 15. I better start running. Except before I can get moving, one of them sees me. It screams, running from me in a frenzy while still repeating the same verse fragment. Join us and see 3, come and see. It was in my head at this point too, screaming on the outside and the inside. There's no escaping it. As soon as it began after me, more joined, running from rooms in the opposite end of the hall, pouring toward me in a chorus of the damned. Down below, more ran up the stairs, flame covering their bodies like living funeral pyres, all coming to attend my wake. No time to hesitate now, I guess. The stairs were taken 2 at a time for the next 5 floors at least, but that was about when I started feeling how out of shape I was. The adrenaline was going wild, but my lungs were burning. Floors above were no better than mine, with creatures already starting to flush through from the roof down. I wouldn't be surprised if there were people up there when everything went to shit, considering it was easier than smoking on the street for most people. Rising flames kept anyone from escaping though, leaving them to either jump to their deaths or be forced to look outside by the demons. The air was getting thin up here as the smoke continued rising, making me cough through labored breathing. Floor 22 now screams echoing behind me as the same creature that saw me initially kept following. Maybe it's some sort of hive mind that they have, because this thing was forming a whole group to run after me, just a couple of flights of stairs behind. Some of them were on fire, spreading the blaze around to others as they packed in tight at the narrow stops. They didn't stop though, all frothing past each other to get at me. Keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing. Gritting my teeth and taking the deepest breath that I could finally do, it got me to the roof access. A huge red door with an emergency light blaring above it, loud buzzing from the fire alarm letting everybody know that the world was screwed. The damn thing was already swinging open and closed hard, wind outside, fighting with hot, flaming air inside to see who would win. Join us and see 3, come and see, worship with us for the time is near. So many voices down below on the stairs, all screaming out in the same terrifying rumble, eyeless faces smiling up at me in bliss. They weren't afraid, weren't driven by any kind of hunger or goal. They were just happy. It's these same looks that I would see in the adults during church services. Those same smiles of being assured in their place in the world, even after they had stepped out of that building and acted like a whole different person than they claimed. That same fake smile stayed though, making the damaged half of their face look even more terrifying in contrast. The chorus of hell continued as I ran out of time to open the door. They were almost upon me when I finally got up the nerve, walking close and closing my eyes before stepping out. I can visualize the entire roof in my mind after being up here so much. Straight ahead is the AC unit for the building. To my right is another shorter building that could interrupt my fall. My left was the best destination. Over the side, right down onto the paved street below, still probably teeming with these terrors. I don't have a choice. The voices grew louder behind me, screaming, "Come and see." So loud that it began to make my ear buzz with static, deafening its power. Run, run, keep running. It's all that I can do to keep moving, but I eventually hit the edge, barely stopping myself from falling right over. Stop for a moment and make sure you do this right. Climb up, take a stand, don't face the road though. No, if I see what's below it's going to make me stop. Don't stop, I can't stop. I have to end this myself before they can end me. With my feet on the concrete edge and the wind beginning to hit me hard, almost knocking me off balance and into the pavement below. I open my eyes to see the creatures pouring out of the access door running behind me. I stepped back, falling backward to face the heavens three above, losing any stability and giving myself to gravity. Join us and see three. The voices rang out again. The sun was bright, but in the moment I fell back to the ground with nothing but the high heavens three above me. Their words echoed louder. And I saw, finally I saw, while a loud and thunderous chorus all combined into one singular voice, ringing out once more, "Join us and see three." I beheld a red horse galloping through the heavens three with immense speed. I beheld a red horse, galloping through the heavens three with immense speed. War set upon him, a massive sword held in frail, decaying hands, slicing the areas more and more on earth, cut each other down. Brother killing brother. My last sight before gravity turned me on my head was the horse, his eyes burning bright with the heat of the sun. Pure hatred burning in its face. As my body turned, seeing the creature began to make me feel at peace. This was our fate, but was it a bad fate? The Messiah will be here soon and the horseman is just bringing his good news. War will be a blight on the earth no more, with no humans left to foster aggression toward one another. Now we would all come together in worship, spreading the good news of what's to come by opening the eyes of others. My eyes are open now, though these eyes cannot yet comprehend the beauty of what I've seen. No, I'll need to open up my real eyes, the ones underneath these, and then I'll be able to see the true beauty of what's be seen. No, I'll need to open up my real eyes, the ones underneath these, and then I'll be able to see the true beauty of what's to come, the true salvation all this bloodshed will bring, the coming of a new kingdom built on the bodies of the damned. The last fading thought that I have is the same phrase that brought me terror just moments before. My lips part, pushing words out in a whisper against wind trying to rip them through my throat. Three final words before the pavement meets my head. The old me's plan working perfectly as I hit skull first, spilling my brain over the concrete. My lips still manage to finish the final word though, twitching as the rest of my body falls to the ground. Join us and see three.